What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are back with some NBA playoff predictions. It's a good playoffs this year. Hopefully, Celtics got really good teams here, hoping that they can win it. But we're going to give some predictions for the rest of the matchups, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So for the first matchup, we got Thunder versus the Kings or Pelicans. Whoever wins that game tonight, because I'm filming this game before. Because I'm filming this video before the matchup. Right now, I think Miami is playing. Let me check the score. Yeah, they're up by 10 right now in the third. So we're going to start off with this matchup, Thunder versus the Kings or the Pelicans. Thunder, very young team. They're the youngest number one seed in the history of any number one seed in the NBA. And I think they're super dependent on Shea because they're shy. I think that's how you said it, pronounce it. But they're super dependent on him because there's no other player on the roster that was scoring above 20 except for Shai, who's averaging almost like 30 or something. But I think that there's a lot of star power on this young team. They're going to be really good in the future, but I do think they're going to win this one. I actually put in 4, but I think it might be, in 5, I would say. They'll beat them in 5. All right. The 4 versus 5 in the West, Clippers versus Mavericks. This is a real good game. This is a real good series. Obviously, this year, Clippers, they got the pieces together. They were called the retirement home of the NBA because they got all the old guys, but it's paying off. They're the 4th seed. And again, against the Mavericks now, Luka, Kyrie. The Clippers here do have the better defense, but the Mavericks offense this season has just been really good, especially if you got Luka on your team, you're always going to be competing in games. The Clippers, they were not starting too good, but they ended the season real strong, and mid-season they had a good run as well. Honestly, this is one of those series that I think is going to be really close, Game 6 or Game 7 for sure. But I am going to take the Mavericks in this one in 7 games to move on. All right, third matchup in the West, the 3 versus 6 seed matchup. We got the Timberwolves versus the Suns. Both of these teams are really good. Obviously, the Suns not where they wanted to be, but they were heated up at the end of the season. They had a really good record to finish off like the last 15 games. And in the 3 matchups, Suns and Timberwolves have played, the Suns beat them all 3 times and by 15 or more points. And I think the Suns are going to finally start hitting their stride. Bradley Beal finished the season strong, averaging 25 points a game those last 10 games. And then Timberwolves, though, they do have the best defense in the league. That combination of Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. Even though Cat was out for a while, he's back now too, so they got him back. But I don't know how he's going to fit in after being out for so long because they were on a run. Timberwolves were on a run with that month without him. But I think that the Suns are going to pull it together because they have so many offensive playmakers. They're going to be able to pull out Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels out on the wing. It's going to open up opportunities inside. Give me the Suns in 6. First upset of, well, technically there's an upset, but I think it's the first pretty big upset of the predictions. All right, so the last matchup of the West, the 2 seed Nuggets versus 7 seed Lakers, rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. I mean, I don't think the Lakers are going to have it in them this year. They might slip in 1 or 2 wins, but really I think LeBron, Lakers, they just don't have enough. They have made runs in the past where they were the 7th seed or like low seed like that, like last season, made it all to the conference finals. But that first round matchup was against a pretty injury-riddled Memphis team. And Nuggets, reigning champs, the West runs through Denver right now, and I don't think the Lakers are going to get it done. I'm going to take the Nuggets in, might actually be in 6, but I'll take them in 5, just to be safe there. All right, so Celtics, number 1 seed versus whoever is going to be the 8 seed. They're Miami or Chicago right now. Score is 80-60 Miami. So, yeah, it's going to be Miami most likely. Celtics have had some trouble with Miami in the past. Last year, they fell down 3-0 versus them in the series. In the conference finals, came all the way back, but then they lost the Game 7. Jason Tatum did injure his ankle, one of the first plays of the game there, but we won't talk about last year. It's a new season. And, however, playoff Jimmy is not going to be available for most likely this whole series. So honestly, I don't think Miami's going to have it in them. They don't have some of those guys always go crazy against the Celtics, like Gabe Vincent. They do have Tyler Hero, though. They got some of those guys. I think Strus is gone now, but Celtics, I'm going to give them in 5 because they always let one slip. It's going to happen, so give me Celtics in 5 in that series. All right, this is a series that doesn't look very good on paper, but I do think it's going to be one of the better series of this playoffs. Cavaliers versus Magic. Two teams that are Cavaliers. They've been in the playoffs. They got a lot of good talent, a lot of good playmakers on there. The Magic, they're new to the playoffs. They got Paolo. He's leading them there. It's probably, I would say I kind of expected them to be in the playoffs, but I don't think a lot of people have them winning this series. And I do think it's going to be a close one. You got Spider on the Cavs, Evan Mobley. Their defense is going to be really good. However, I think it's going to be just one of those really tough, like, blood, sweat, and tears type series. It's going to be a lot of effort. And it's not the ones that's on, like, the NBA TV. And not a lot of people are going to be watching it. But I do think that this one's going to go to 7 games. It's going to be a close series. But give me the Cavs in 7 in this one. Alrighty, this might be one of the best series out of all the first round. Bucks versus Pacers. A lot of beef went through. Water break. Sorry, throat was getting dry. So Bucks Pacers is going to be probably one of the best series in the first round. Bucks, Giannis is going to probably be out for game 1 or something like that, I think they were saying. Pacers, obviously, I actually predicted them to be playoffs. Thank you. I also said Thunder, too. I said Shea was going to be an MVP candidate. Now they're the 1 seed. I said they were going to be a really good team this year. 1 seed, guys. Listen to my predictions, man. Honestly, I think this is going to be a lot closer series than a lot of people may be taking the Bucks in this. I do think it's going to be close, though, because Tyrese Halliburton is probably the best playmaker in the league. He's almost averaged 13 assists or something like that. And especially with Giannis being gone for the first game, the Pacers can take advantage of that. They can win back home court advantage. However, the only thing about the Pacers, their defensive rating was one of the worst in the league. Bucks was middle of the NBA, but it's one of the worst they've had in the past 5 years. So I think it's going to be a lot of offense in this series, a lot of scoring. Without Giannis in game 1, though, I think the Pacers will take advantage of that. And if they can get on a roll, I think the series can be done. I think I'm going to take the Pacers in 6 here. Bucks out in the first round for the 2nd straight year. And obviously, they have Doc Rivers as their coach, so they have to choke in some way. So, all right, Knicks versus the 76ers. This is going to be a really close 2-7 seed series because Philly is probably at full strength right now. They had to beat out for most of the season, but with Embiid just coming back, they are at full strength. They could be the 2 seed instead right now if they were like that the whole season. And honestly, this is going to be an upset. I think Philly's going to take this because New York is super dependent on Jalen Brunson. If he's out, their numbers go way down. If without him, they're super dependent on him. They need him there, especially in playoffs. In the regular season, you can win with one guy being your main guy scoring on a consistent basis like that. But in the playoffs, it's a different game. The defense is a lot higher. It's a lot more of a physical game. And Philly, they know they've been in the playoffs a lot more. I mean, they have more playoff experience, I would say. They know what it's going to take to win. And I just think that New York, unless it was the role players, they catch fire, because that's what happens in the playoffs. I mean, they're teams with role players, that's when they shine, and that's what can win a series. So I think that unless that happens for New York, I think Philly's going to take this series. I'm going to give it to them in 6 games in the first round. So that rounds out the first round. Let's go to round 2 now. All right, y'all. We standing up for this one? Actually, no, probably. I'm not even in the screen, probably. Water break. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so round 2, we got Thunder, Mavericks. Ooh. To be honest with you, I do not think the Thunder are going to win more than one playoff series because of how young they are. They have no playoff experience whatsoever. I mean, they were playing tournament. That's all the playoff experience they have. And I guess in the season tournament, there was a little bit of playoff environment there, but it's nothing compared to actual playoffs. So I do think because the Mavericks have more playoff experience, and not that the Thunder are a good team, they're a really good team. And in the next, definitely in the next 4 years, I could see them winning a championship. However, this year, I think they're just too young, too inexperienced. especially Luka, Kyrie. They're at full speed right now. They want that championship bad. I think it'll be a close series, but I think I'll take the Mavericks in 6 here. I don't think the Thunder are ready to make a deep run yet into the playoffs. All right, so this is an interesting one now. We got the Suns and the Nuggets. So the Suns, after that first round matchup against the Timberwolves, after beating them, I think they're now going to be catching their, finally at where they should have been, how their preseason expectations were. I think that they're going to finally find it. They're finally going to find their identity and start winning some games. However, the West does run through the Nuggets, and I think the Nuggets are a really hard challenge, especially since they just figured out what they need to do right, and they're just getting into their the swing of things. I don't think that it's going to be enough, especially Nuggets. Just they're like, oh yeah, we're going full speed, hit the Nuggets. The Nuggets are just a wall. It's going to stop them. I think it's going to actually be a pretty blowout, but I mean, you never know. KD in the playoffs, he's probably wants another championship. Devin Booker's trying to get back to the finals too. But yeah, they're going to hit the Nuggets wall. Nuggets are going to win this one in 5. I think it's going to be a little bit of a blowout series. I'll give it to them in 5. You gotta stick with your prediction. You can't be changing up like that. Gotta be confident in them. That's how it actually happens. Water break. Wrong tune. All right, so we got Celtics versus Cavs. I don't think the Celtics have faced Cavs in the playoffs in a while, since the LeBron days, but this is definitely going to be a challenge. The Celtics and Cleveland games in the regular season, they've always been good, especially Donovan Mitchell. I feel like Donovan Mitchell playoffs, he always be going crazy. Like that one year when it was the Denver versus Cavs series, it was like that when Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray were dropping 50-point games, alternating each game, and went all the way to Game 7. Anyway, it's a new series. We got the Cavs. Oh, no, it was when he was on the Jazz. Yeah, crazy. Celtics, Cavs. Obviously, you know who I want to win the series, the Celtics. Do I think they're going to win? I do think they're going to win. However, how close of a series it's going to be, that really depends. The Celtics, obviously, they've been one of the best teams in the league, offensively and defensively. So yeah, the Celtics did win the season series against the Cavs 2-1, but the Cavs are coming off a win against them. It's just a 1-point win though. I think there's gonna be some end of the game, last possession wins for the series. But I think the Celtics are gonna come out on top. They just have so much. They have a lot of places where they can exploit matchups, like Kristaps Porzingis. They just give him to him inside. He can against Evan Mobley or kick it out, open threes, stuff like that. I think that's going to be really key, is getting everyone involved if Celtics want to win this. And for the Cavs, obviously Donovan Mitchell's always going to be a beast. He's always going to play good, but they also have to get the role players. They got to start hitting shots if they want to win this. I will take the Celtics in 6 games for this series. All right, lastly, to round out the conference finals, conference semifinals in the East, Pacers versus Sixers. I think Sixers now, they're going to be hitting their stride. They just finished off a 6-game series, New York. But New York is obviously a different team than the Pacers are. Knicks are heavily reliant on Jalen Brunson. The Pacers, they do rely on Tyrese Halliburton, but they have other playmakers. They have really good bench depth, and I think a lot of their bench depth, like Aaron Nesmith, is going to come out and play really good in this series. Those role players I've been talking about. As for Philadelphia, I mean, this is their year. If they're gonna want to make a deep run, they got a really good situation, 7th seed, and they can make the conference finals in this series. And the Pacers, young team, they're first time in the playoffs for a while, first playoff win after that Bucks, if they win that Bucks series since 2015, something like that. But Philly with Joel Embiid, I really don't know if Pascal Siakam and Miles turn around and think he's going to be able to stop Embiid, especially now he's full strength, back to 100%. But I'm going to take Philly. They're going to the conference finals as a 7th seed to play against the Celtics, rematch of last season's conference semifinals. Give me the Sixers. Yeah, give me the Sixers in 7 games. Actually, not in 6 games. I'll take the Sixers in 6. I think the Pacers might win 1 or 2, but ultimately Joel Embiid's just not too hard to stop for them. He's going to get the job done. All right, in the West, we got Western Conference Finals, Mavericks versus Nuggets. This is a really good game, dude. Jokic versus Doncic in a conference final matchup is insane. The Nuggets just have a lot of star power. Mavericks do too. The Nuggets have the 5th best offense in the league this year, and the Mavericks had number 8, so that they're pretty even in terms of offense. But as for defense, the Mavericks do have a lot worse of a defense. They're in like the bottom half of the league defensively, maybe like bottom third. Whereas the Nuggets, they're a top 10 defensive rating team. So ultimately, I think this is just going to come down to their stars, who's going to want it more. If Jokic is averaging those triple doubles, the Nuggets are easily going to take this series. Obviously, Luka's going to be dropping those kind of stats too, but it's more so the rest of the team, the role players, how the guys the bench, because the Mavericks, I feel like they don't have as deep of a bench as the Nuggets do. And I think ultimately playoff games, that's what it comes down to. So I will take the Nuggets, especially if Jokic is doing what he always does. If he can do that, unless the Mavericks can find a way to stop him, the Nuggets are going to be winning this series. And I'll take them in 6 games. You know what? Give me the Nuggets in 7, to be honest. This is going to be an insane series. Give me the Nuggets in 7. All right, so 1 versus 7 seed Eastern Conference Finals matchup. And really, the 76ers should not be a 7 seed. They're probably one of the best 7 seeds in recent memory in the playoffs, but they got to the conference finals. That's all that matters for them if this were to happen. And Philly versus Boston, that's just a classic matchup, one that is always a good one. Last year went to Game 7. Celtics came down 3-2 to win the series. And, I mean, honestly, if Philly is at full strength, this is going to also be another Game 7 type series, especially if they keep playing how they have been playing with everyone back. There's a bug. Water break. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so if they are, if Philly is back, full strength, Joel Embiid is playing at an MVP level again, which I think he probably will, then Philadelphia is going to get this game to Game 7, I think. But Boston, they're a lot better of a team this year than they were when they played Philly last year. And also, Philly does not have Doc Rivers coaching them this year, so I think that just automatically gives them a boost too. I'm not a Doc Rivers hater, but if you just look at the numbers, man, it just speaks for themselves. But I mean, yeah, ultimately this could come down to more so not how the players play, but the coaching, because I think that's what happened in the Miami versus Boston last year. Eric Spoelstra just outcoached Joe Mazzulla, and that's why they fell into a 3-0 hole. And honestly, the players also just didn't want it as bad, but that also starts in the locker room. But if this does come down to coaching, obviously Nick Nurse has a lot more coaching experience than Joe Mazzulla, so he's going to have to get his players motivated. They're going to have a really good strategy in this series. And if everything is clicking how it's been clicking for the Celtics this season, because really the Celtics' only enemy is themselves. The games that they lose is because they're forcing up too many threes, because they're a really heavy three-point shooting team. And when the threes aren't hitting, sometimes they do not win those type of games. But they need to know how to adjust when those threes aren't hitting. And ultimately, if the Celtics are able to do that, I think they can take care of this series pretty easily. But that's a lot easier said than done, which is what's happened in the years in the past when they've had those high expectations, haven't lived up to them. But I'm still going to take Boston in this in a 7-game series. Hell of a close series. Ultimately, I think this could go either way, depending on the things that I said, how those things go. All right, so for the 2024 NBA Finals, we got Nuggets versus Celtics. Hell of a matchup. Honestly, what I also kind of expected at the start of the year, and if everything plays out as I expect it to, then I could see this really happening. I could see this Celtics Nuggets as the finals, because really from the West, there's not a team that is really good that can get there, because the West ultimately runs through the Nuggets. Whoever wants to get there has to beat the Nuggets. Lakers, I don't think are going to pull it off. Even the Timberwolves, I don't think they're going to pull it off. Suns maybe could, probably not. I haven't blown them out in this series. The only team that probably could have a chance is maybe the Mavericks, or a team like the Clippers if they can make it out of that round, especially because it's going to be a close one now and could go either way. And I think the Clippers could also beat the Thunder too. That would be so crazy. It's like all the Thunder players like Russell Westbrook, James Harden coming back, playing them in that series. That would look to be a good series, but I got the Mavericks in that. Anyway, Celtics Nuggets. Both of these teams, really good offensive ratings, really good defensive ratings. Celtics did have the best offense in the league. Defensively, Nuggets had a top 10. Defensively, Celtics had a top 3. So really, it's going to be a really even matchup, and I think honestly, this is going to be a really good game. I mean, actually, this season, the Nuggets swept the Celtics in the regular season series. The first time they played was January. Nuggets won it by 12. Then they played twice in January. The Nuggets beat them the second time by 2, and then just in March they just beat them by 6. So they've been pretty close games. I remember watching some of them. It's like after the free throws are made. That's why it seems like a lot more. But they are games that come down to the final possession, especially that Celtics Nuggets one. I think there was a pretty controversial call on that one too. But whatever. This is the finals. Nothing matters except winning the championship now. Nuggets coming off a championship last year. They know what it takes to win. The Celtics, they've been to the NBA Finals. They went to the NBA Finals a couple seasons before, and they now have that hunger in them. They've been saying that since the start of this season. Like, they have nothing else in their mind except winning the championship. And I think that was really what the move of trading Marcus Smart was. It was just for a culture shift. More so, it's like everything is just more serious now. They're just focused. Not Marcus Smart was a problem. Like, honestly, I respect him a lot. He's probably one of my favorite players in the whole NBA, just because of his like work rate and hustle. But I think ultimately that move had to be made. Something had to be changed, and it's worked. But the real question is, the real way to show if it worked or not is if the Celtics win the championship this year. And I do think that they can pull it off this year, but honestly, it's just going to come down to who wants it more in the end. Obviously, it's also going to come down to coaching. Joe Mazzulla, he hasn't been in this position before because last time they're in the finals, it was Ime Udoka. Honestly, he's a really good coach, but I respect Joe Mazzulla too. I think we were telling him when we met up with him in Utah, we were like, yo, go win Banner 18 this year, brother. And he was like, I got you guys. So hopefully he's man from his word. They were all saying that because we asked all the players when we saw him in Utah. They were like, got you, bro. So hopefully they can fulfill that. And I do think that Jason Tatum, it's really a matter of, will Jason Tatum step up in the moment? Because in years past, in like the playoffs or in like the finals when they played, he couldn't step up to that next level to carry his team to the win. That's what a true superstar needs to be able to do. And this is really a moment to prove that Jason Tatum is one of the greats. If this does happen, if this is the finals matchup, this is a chance for him. No, even whoever is the team they play this is a moment for him to prove that he really is a superstar, just like one of the NBA greats. And it's, yeah, mostly a matter of will Jason Tatum step up in the spotlight, and the rest of the team as well. Jaylen Brown, too. He had some struggles in the NBA Finals a couple of years back as well. And I think they're just locked in this year. I think the Celtics are going to take this series. Nuggets-wise, they know what it takes. Jokic is always going to be Jokic. He's always going to put up those stats he always puts up. I've never really seen a team stop Jokic before. Only way they win games, they control everyone else in the Nuggets. And if the Celtics can at least do that, this is going to still be a close series. It'll probably go to Game 7 if they do that. But if they somehow find a way to neutralize Jokic for like a game or two, he has like an off game or two, that will pretty much decide a series. And if the Nuggets, what they have to do, the Celtics defensively, they just have to throw Tatum off, they just have to throw like Tatum or Brown off, because once that number one is not going, it kind of throws off the rest of the team. But the thing with the Celtics, they have so many options offensively. That's what they kind of brought in Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis is for those third, fourth options when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't doing what they can do best. Also, Derek White. I don't know why I keep forgetting about Derek White. He's probably one of the biggest X factors in the series. I think that the Celtics are going to pull this one out. Game 7, hell of a close series. It's really going to come down to how the Celtics defense can perform against the rest of the team, and also including Jokic. They can't let him go off, because if he starts getting like a 50-point triple-double, it's over. But if they can neutralize him, and then the rest of the team, Tatum, Brown, they step up, this is the Celtics' year to lose. So it's really up to them. Do they want to win it or not? It's depending on how they play. They have everything they need to win the championship this year, and I think the window's closing. So this isn't a super biased one. I think a lot of people have the Celtics winning it this year, but I do think that this is their year. And if everything goes to plan, then we will be celebrating this June for the Celtics banner 18. So, hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment on who you think is winning the NBA championship this year. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, hit the notification bell, and share this video with all your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Go Celtics.